But listen, also, their debate should not be the last word. I'm trying to debate Donald Trump again. I think he should debate again. The American people have a right to hear us discuss the issues. And as you say here in Las Vegas, I'm all in. I'm all in. Even if my opponent is ready to fold. So there you go.
Kamala Harris is in full panic mode after the disastrous VP debate from last night, where we all witnessed J.D. Vance dominate Tim Walz on nearly every question. Which brings us to the point of this video, where right after that debate, Kamala asked Trump to debate her again. So what we're going to do is react to her statement, some of these clips, and let's start with what her director had to say on this very point. So here's the statement right after the debate. The choice facing the American people in November was on full display tonight between charting a new way forward or going backwards. Vice President Harris believes that the American people deserve to see her and Trump on the debate stage one more time. She will be in Atlanta on October 23rd. Donald Trump should step up and face the voters. This is a statement from Gene O'Malley Dillon. Now, as we go throughout this video, the reason that they did this and said that statement is going to become very clear, because they know this was a disaster from Tim Walz. I mean, he didn't do anything, in my opinion, and a lot of voters who watched opinion, and even people who hate to admit, he didn't do their campaign any favors, okay? J.D. Vance did exactly what you would want a vice president to do, which is to, in some context, actually outshine you. Because what it does is confirm that, one, you chose the right vice president, and two, the entire ticket is really strong, which is why they're trying to ask for a debate. They're trying to control the narrative. We know that's not going to work, but the question still remains, should there be another debate?
Nevertheless, do you think Trump has to debate Harris one more time before Election Day?
You know, Boris, I mean, that's obviously up to them. I mean, I know you're asking me my opinion here. The campaign needs to do what we need to do to win. It's really that simple. You cannot govern if you don't win.
Do you think he needs to debate her one more time to win?
I don't know. That's what's being calculated, right? I mean, the plan is to win. Now, if the plan is to accommodate to the Harris campaign, if that doesn't help us win, then no, we don't need that accommodation. President Trump makes himself extremely available, as does JD. Boy, oh boy, at rallies, he takes questions from anybody who's got one, as does President Trump. So I think the American people have a good understanding of who he is. And I think the Harris campaign is looking for another opportunity to express platitudes rather than engage in a real policy discussion. I mean, come on, you can admit yourself that the exposure she's given to the general public is far less than Trump Vance. I mean, you know, for crying out loud, I thought Walz was in witness protection for a few weeks before the debate.
She has done substantially fewer interviews, but it's interesting that you would argue that not doing another debate would actually benefit the Trump campaign. Nevertheless, Congressman Dan Muser, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for being with us.
No, what's actually interesting, sir, is you haven't looked at the numbers. You haven't looked at the polling, and there's a particular poll that answers that question. And we'll show you that poll later in this video. Who needs the debate more? We already know what the answer is. Kamala Harris, don't question. And again, we're going to show you the numbers on why that is. So that is ridiculous. Why would Trump ever accommodate the Harris-Walz campaign? That I don't even know why he'd even give that type of answer. That's just my opinion. Everybody already knows what Trump is going to do. There's nothing else he needs to say. J.D. Vance put the bow on the top. What else is there to talk about at this point? But one thing that they don't want to talk about, the one thing they don't want to become a national story, is some of the blunders from Tim Walz during that debate last night, which again is contributing to why they need that other debate. They need to make sure that this is not the last word for the campaign. But let's take a look at one of the biggest blunders from Tim Walz last night.
Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety. I'm of an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice. That's not where we live today. And several things I want to mention on this is talking about cities and where it's at. The number one where the most firearm deaths happen in Minnesota are rural suicides. And we have an epidemic of children getting guns and shooting themselves. And so we have, and we should look at all of the issues, making sure folks have health care and all that, but I want to be very careful. This idea of stigmatizing mental health, just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns. It's just the guns.
Okay, so he's responding to the broader question in regards to gun safety and his historical record behind what he wants to do with assault weapons, etc. And there are 2 points during his answer where it was a total failure. Number one was when he said that he was friends with school shooters. That was right at the beginning. And then at the end that you just heard here is just the guns. I mean, that makes no sense. Guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. Okay, a gun doesn't get legs and walk and then shoot someone. It doesn't work that way. So I thought that he whiffed on that answer, and it's more of a distraction from the campaign than it is an actual net positive for them. Because one thing is for sure in this election cycle is we've never had an election that has so much social media attention, everybody talking about it, everybody creating clips and viral moment of this is not good for their campaign whatsoever. Now, of course, Tim Walz was asked to clarify his comments the very next day. And once again, he whiffed on that too.
Do you want to clarify the comments that you made about school shooters?
Yeah, and look, you got to see me. These folks know me. I'm super passionate about this. The question come up about school shooting, we're talking about everything except school shootings. And I sat as a member of Congress with the Sandy Hook parents, and it was a profound movement. David Hogg is a good friend of mine. You have seen me do this. I was talking about being people where there are school shooters, and I need to be more specific on that, but I am passionate about this. This one, for my wife and I, is just, as teachers, as parents, is so personal.
All right, this is like a comedy at a certain point. I mean, look at John Fetterman in the background. Look at him. He's like, oh man, I hope he doesn't say anything stupid. I mean, who says more stupidest things, right? John Fetterman or Tim Walz? I think they're tied, right? But anyways, I don't know what he said. That's a word salad. He made no sense on clarifying his comments. He didn't say, oh, what I meant to say was actually this. No, he didn't even say that. He went into deflecting immediately. So maybe he is friends with school shooters, which is alarming. And I'm sure they're praying that this doesn't become a viral story, by the way. But we are going to highlight it because a lot of people are talking about it on social media. It's just ridiculous. Now, if you're getting value from this video, do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, grab yourself a t-shirt or buy us a cup of coffee. Now, Tim Walz clearly failed to clarify his comments, so let's give JD Vance the opportunity to clarify comments for Tim Walz since he was unable to do it. Here's what JD Vance said the very next day at a rally.
We did this debate, and then I talked to the president afterwards, and we talked a little bit about, what actually happened, and, some of the points that I made, some of the points that Governor Walz made. And, he made this observation. He said that Tim Walz said that he was friends with school shooters twice. And that's something I actually didn't notice, that Tim Walz had said that on the debate stage. And I said, did he really say that, sir? And he said, I'm telling you, man, go and watch the clips. He said he was friends with school shooters twice. And I said that was probably only the third or fourth dumbest comment Tim Walz made that night then. Because look, I got to be honest, I feel a little bad for Governor Walz. And the reason I feel bad for him is because he has to defend the indefensible. And that is the record of Kamala Harris.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot. Kamala Harris is also in a bad spot. She's coming from an administration that she's a part of that has ruined the economy for the middle class workers and hasn't done any favors when it comes to our immigration system with the open border, and definitely has failed on foreign policy. So what is there truly to defend at this point? That is such a great point. And Tim Walz is he's the wrong guy for that. That's not what his strength really is. Okay. We've seen that at the debate. He's not a great debater whatsoever. I don't think he will ever be a great debater. That just isn't in his toolkit. Just like Kamala Harris in her toolkit, I don't think she's ever going to be great at giving interviews. That is very clear. So, of course, former President Trump had to respond to this desperate attempt to get the second debate. And here's what he said. Lying Kamala just put out a request for another debate because they lost so badly tonight. Again, it's like the fighter who lost gets up and says, I want a rematch. I beat Biden. I then beat her, and I'm not looking to do it again. Too far down the line. Votes are already cast, and I'm leading big in the polls. I'll make America great again. She's incapable of it. Yeah, so that's his response. And again, we've been saying this like it's a broken record. I mean, she needs it more than he does. So he actually has the leverage. Why does she need the second debate? Let's look at it right now. Because 45% of voters who are not fully committed to Kamala Harris or Donald Trump cannot name a single Harris policy. That means nearly half of undecided voters cannot name one single policy from Kamala Harris. That's damaging. So if you look below, 51% of people who are definitely voting for Trump, they don't know one single policy from Kamala Harris. Then next to that, the 45%, which I just read earlier, that is people, they don't know who they're going to vote for. 45% say they don't know one single policy. People who are going to vote for Kamala Harris, 22% say they don't know one of her policies. So overall, 37% of voters in this election, according to this poll of at least, 1,005 people, don't know a single policy from Kamala Harris. Yeah, she needs another debate. But more than another debate, she needs to be doing local interviews. She should be doing town halls. She hasn't done any of that except the disastrous Oprah event. I guess you could call it a town hall, where she clearly was clueless on the answers. But I digress. This is why she needs it. And if I was in Trump's shoes, I wouldn't give it to her. Because this entire time, the one thing that you can give her campaign credit for is they have been in charge. They have been controlling the narrative with the media, right? They've been dictating a lot of things. And this is the one time that I truly believe Trump has ultra leverage. He doesn't need to do this. She needs it. So what he should do is not give it to her. Don't give her what she wants. Don't do that anymore, because the last time you did it, which was the ABC debate, no one wants to see that again. So you could say what you want about the VP debate. Some people say it was boring. Some people say JD Vance was too nice. But that is the type of debate I think most Americans would rather see than the debate against Trump and Kamala Harris, where clearly it was all about attack Trump, attack Trump, attack Trump. So I love that they did the debate the way that they did it. And I think it's very funny that she comes out that night wanting another debate. It just shows the desperation in her campaign, which we showed you why, due to the numbers and the blunders from Tim Walz. So what's your opinion about this story that she's looking for that debate still? She wants it to be in Atlanta on October 23rd. Trump doesn't want to do it. Do you believe he should do it? What would you say to Kamala Harris if you had the chance in regards to this question about the debate? Let me know all your thoughts and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.